When did your overthinking skills come in handy? Marrying my fiancée, Sarah, was the easiest decision of my life. The hardest part came at the wedding planning. We chose a gorgeous but very remote restored barn. For an overthinker like me, remote is a red flag. My brain is wired to map out worst-case scenarios. It's how I show I care. But with the wedding, this habit became a real source of conflict. About a month before the wedding, I pointed out that the venue was an hour from the nearest hospital. With our older family members attending, I was worried. I suggested we hire a private medic service, just in case. That's when she got upset. She called me paranoid and said my anxiety was a morbid thought that would poison our happiest day. She wanted me to just trust that everything would be fine, but my gut was screaming at me. I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. I knew if something happened and I had done nothing, I'd never forgive myself. So I went behind her back. It felt like a breach of trust, but I told myself it was a gift of safety she'd hopefully never know about. Using my own savings, I hired 2 certified paramedics disguised as guests. The guilt was there, but it was overshadowed by a sense of peace. When the wedding day arrived, it was perfect. The sun was out, the barn looked incredible, and Sarah was breathtaking. Standing at the altar, watching her walk down the aisle on her father's arm, I felt a wave of relief. All my worries suddenly seemed so silly and distant. I thought, she was right, I really am just paranoid. The ceremony was beautiful. We said our vows, our hands shaking a little. The officiant smiled and said, "You may now kiss the bride." And in that perfect movie-like moment, right as I leaned in, a gasp went through the crowd. I snapped my head to the side. Sarah's father clutched his chest and collapsed. Right there at the altar, chaos erupted. People were screaming. Sarah just stood there, frozen, her face a mask of pure terror. But in the middle of it all, my mind went completely silent. My eyes shot through the crowd, found the lead paramedic I'd hired, and I gave him the signal we'd agreed on. Instantly, he and his partner were moving, their calm professionalism cutting right through the panic. They were at her father's side in seconds. While everyone else was paralyzed, they were a blur of focused action. The local ambulance finally arrived almost 40 minutes later, but by then, Sarah's dad was stable and breathing. The ER doctor told us later that their immediate response was the only reason he made it. In the hospital waiting room, Sarah grabbed my hand, tears in her eyes. "You were right," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." The real shift happened about a week later. My new father-in-law, looking tired but very much alive, sat me down with a drink. He raised his glass. "You know, I always thought Sarah chose a worrier," he said with a little smile. "But I was wrong. She chose a protector." Thank you. Has your overthinking ever paid off in a big way? Let me know in the comments.